Look at this topic again in chapter 3. This problem of unmarried young ladies. Is it a problem?
Well, Edmond, you will very likely not be aware of that problem because you're not a pastor.
Okay.
But those of us who are in ministry are aware of it. It's in ministry, there are two pressing problems that many ministers can't easily solve. Okay, even the miracle workers can't solve it. The first one is this issue of unmarried ladies. The second one is women who can bear children. And incidentally, I wrote about the two. Okay, for the women who can bear children, I advise adopt. Nigerians won't adopt. But this issue of unmarried ladies, I think it is if it's not an epidemic, it's a serious matter.
What is it about?
Well, it's the fact that our young ladies they want to get an education, just like their male counterpart, and by the time they are in their 20, 22, 23, 24, they're either finishing school or probably still in school or something like that. But the truth of the matter is that a lady's biological clock begins to tick from something even 16, although safer at 18, and then begins to go down from 28, 29, and 30. In the medical world, if a pregnant woman comes and is older than 30, they treat her as an older person who is about to give birth. She's given special care. Okay, so that's the situation. But we now have our young ladies spending so much of their biological clock in school, and when they are now supposed to be in a man's house and bear children, they are way beyond that, and then the young men also come into the field. They want to get married. Many times our young men won't get married until they have something to hold them economic wise, and then when they look through the field of the ladies available, they go for the younger ones, not the older ones, so by a lady who is not married by the age of 30 in churches, they become, there are so many of them. So they are, and then they because they don't have a family, they don't have a husband or wife children to take care of, they put in all their energy into career, into education. So many of them become high flying, they build, and then it now becomes even more difficult to marry them because the man who wants to marry them probably doesn't have even up to half of their qualifications. So it's a serious issue, and then I think it's now even made double serious by the fact that the Christian religion teaches, and which I support, that a man should marry just one wife. Okay, our fathers probably didn't have that problem then because they had the freedom to marry many wives. Although our young men are finding a solution around that. They are legally married. They get legally married to one wife, and then they have strings of side chicks.
So so
yes.
How is the church coping with this side chick syndrome?
Oh well, we tell them that it's a sin. Yes.
A sin?
Yes. You are not to have a side chick.
Do they understand?
Well, you can only talk. Our men who are involved in it, they won't talk. They will just keep it to themselves. They keep the thing, and because somehow I think society might be breeding the side chick syndrome. In fact, the economic situation is breeding it.
Okay.
Because when you have a situation, men tend to be very savvy, sensible. When a man gets into a system, he tends to do very well. And with time, a man will prosper. Okay? If that man prospers and does very well, he should take care of his wife and children, and he does that. But many times our wives, because they are the only wives in the house, there's no feeling of competition. They take their husbands for granted. Okay, so the man now looks at it and says, okay, the only way to teach her some sense, or just to give some space, is to have some competition outside. He would not bring the wife in. He would not. Muslim men may do that. They have the freedom to do that. But Christian men will not. They'll keep the woman outside, and they'll be taking care of her. They have the economic means.
So Christian men have side chicks?
Oh, yes. Oh, definitely. Yes. Definitely.
What about pastors? Do they have side chicks?
Edmund, that one, he passed my power. I don't know.
Okay.
We usually counsel that they shouldn't.
Okay.
You know, but I mean, what men do underground, nobody knows. You know, so I won't be surprised if they do.